What is happening, YouTube? The Clippers. The Clippers, we had a brutal loss against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So it looked like it was going to happen against the Golden State Warriors. I did not watch the whole game. I was out eating dinner with my family for a Valentine's dinner with my parents. So I missed the first quarter. Second quarter, that's when I pretty much kind of watched. Um, Kawhi is out. Paul George, um, he def he kind of had like a slower start, started missing shots, but the second half, the second half, he stepped up when we needed him to. James Harden, he's probably the MVP of the game. He was hitting so much shots, and also excuse the background noise. I'm outside right now, um, outside of outside of school, so I'm making a vid run like when I'm at school, so my bad. But anyways, um, and then of course Steph Curry and Podziemski. I can't pronounce his name. Podziemski. I can't pronounce his name, but he did pretty darn good. Pod was making so much shots, um, and same with Steph Curry. Curry, that guy just couldn't miss. Towards the end, though, his shots wasn't falling. Thank goodness. Curry, nevertheless, is a great player. Um, Klay Thompson, though, he was definitely a letdown for the Warriors in this game. And honestly, this year, that man was just missing shots. And then, and Clay, he's not even like good defensively in this game. And kind of like let a rebound go by as well, too. Um, and then there was like an altercation, too, especially when Plumlee and Pod, I'm going to just say Pod, because they just went at it. Plumlee was going up for a shot, got fouled. Um, might not be so rough, but it was still like Plumlee it was a frustrating night. Clippers were down, so of course it was bound to happen. And then Plumlee just kind of like, I don't know, like slapped the heck out of Pod, and then of course he like over exaggerated. But then Ty Lue lost his head, and then he got ejected. So Dan Craig was taking place as a temporary head coach, and I thought he did pretty well. Um, but Harden did amazing. Who else? Oh, my man Brandon Boston. He got some minutes, but unfortunately, it was a pretty bad night from him. He was like 0 for 3, but it was like his shots just wasn't falling. But I'm still a huge believer of him. Especially watching how Gigi Jackson is panning out right now. That even increases my faith of Brandon Boston more because I feel like when any player they're like a rookie. No matter how good you are, if they only get a chance to shoot 3 shots every 10 games, of course they're not going to look like their best. But I think once Brandon Boston gets slotted in more, once he gets like more minutes consistently, I think his upsides will definitely start to show. Um, Even like when he played against the Wizards, like he did show some promise. It's just the shots weren't falling. One of it was a pretty bad shot. Two of them, those were just unfortunate missed shots. But and he did look pretty lost. I'll unfortunately admit it, but it was off. It was a bad game for Brandon. But Clippers won. They made a huge comeback too, down by 15, which is amazing. Um, who else? Let's see. Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, he did his thing towards in the clutch, man. Getting all the rebounds that we need, man. Kept us in the game. Um, you know, Field goal wise, like obviously shots wasn't falling and turned the ball over. But when he's on a team like the Clippers, we need a guy who could rebound and who would go for the hustle. We were missing that for a long time. And Russell Westbrook, he brings that for the team. And you got to clap it up for Russ. I know, of course, he's not going to be the most efficient guy every single time in terms of, field goal wise. But he always tries to contribute. He always tries to play defense. He does other things. And remember, he's taking a pay cut too. Could have got a lot more money. So got to clap it up to Russ. Got to see him rejuvenate his career. And then the MVP of the game, um, Norman Powell. Norman Powell, they got in a clutch, man. in the clutch when we needed someone to spark it up and make a comeback. Nolan Powell, he hit those threes, man. Like his pump fakes and bam, wide open threes was just falling, and it was so beautiful to see for this team. And as a person who was like frequently suggests trading Norman Powell so Bones Highland and Brandon Boston Jr. gets the opportunities, I was I probably might have to say I was proven wrong because Norman Powell just he's a vital piece, and I'm more than happy to get my agendas proven wrong. Because at the end of the day, I would rather see my team win than to see my agendas become correct. Um, it's nice to see that his shots falling in, man, and he was like the huge X factor of the game. Shots were just falling and falling and falling. Like that man just didn't miss. Like it's amazing. And yeah, Paul George, like I said, step up in the second half. Making a lot of shots, mid ranges, and all that. He was cooking. He was cooking. Pretty good game for the Clippers. Um, I think we get our next game is gonna be the Grizzlies. I mean, not the Grizzlies. I mean, the Oklahoma City Thunders, and then they face my other team. Well, my favorite player. So that's gonna be like an ultimate fun game for me. But face the Thunders. I think we could beat the Thunders. Grizzlies. Gotta roll with my boy, um, GG Jackson. So it's definitely going to be a pretty fun game. I think Grizzlies might upset in that game because Grizzlies, hey, they play pretty hard, man. But I'm just being a little biased right now, so I need to stop talking too much. But anyways, this team, this team is just has been unreal. It looked like we were about to lose this game, and the Warriors, they're not a slouch. I know this season they have not been so good whatsoever. I don't even know what standing they are right now, but this game, man, the Warriors, they've been pretty successful in recent history, but this year just not the year. But the Clippers, they pulled it off. They pulled it off, man. They pulled it off. Anyways, I think this should end this video. I don't think I got too much to say, but happy late Valentine's Day, and it's a pretty nice Valentine's gift for fellow Clippers fans. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, and peace.